Today, I want to share how Ate Bodong draw her OCs and walk you through 4 simple steps to help you build your own character too.
Thank
Okay,
you.
bye!
It's really less about drawing perfectly and more about giving your character a heart, flaws, and a story that feels alive. You see, I wanted to start drawing my OC. I needed references so that I can continue to draw them consistently. But I don't have a lot of them. So I'm taking this opportunity using my YouTube channel, creating a new series dedicated for my OCs. So basically, I'm calling this character exploration series. So this is episode 1. And let's start with Priya. We're gonna start with her. We're gonna do the sketching, the design, and all the fun stuff. Okay? And I hope this inspires you to make your own OC too. And remember, it doesn't have to be perfect from the start. So let's begin. Like my niece said, there will be at least 4 simple steps because your girl here wants simplicity, okay? We want to make it simple, especially that our brain can be this tiny little annoying overreactive little clump of blob. Hey, pay attention! I can feel that your brain is flying. I. Step 1, rough it out. Step 2, wait a minute. Why am I saying it already? Alrighty, let's start with step 1. Rough it out. Ruff. Make it make it exist first, then refine later. Warm up the brain. Don't stress about perfection. The real goal? Just yank the character out of your head and slap them onto the canvas. Sketch what you visualize. And if you struggle to visualize your character, grab some reference. You have a lot of reference to grab. Your Pinterest. You can even use real life. You can use your face. You can use movies, anime. So many references nowadays. So yeah, in summary, step 1, roughing it out. The most important step is just to make it exist first. You can always refine it later on. So you don't have to pressure yourself on making it perfect right away. Oh, it's application time. So as for me, here's what I did to visualize my OC. I love the idea of her wearing baggy, heavy-duty pants for protection, but balancing it out with the tank top so she's not drowning in fabric. Technically, I had already drawn her before, so this is me revisiting the rough design to see what sticks and what needs changing. For her hair, I want a rose-like pink style. The problem is it's kind of similar to another old OC of mine, and I don't want people thinking they're siblings. They're not. I could redesign it a bit, but honestly, I love this style way too much right now. Maybe I'll change it later, but as of now, I gave it another reason for her to look like this. So, yeah. So that's step 1. Rough it out, and that's how I apply the step 1. Basically, just sketching, roughing the character design, and not really overthinking it that much. Because as of now, I really just want to draw her, make her exist first. Just really putting down those designs first and then just refine it later on. Okay, step 2. Pin down personality. After sketching the rough sketch of my character, I take a good look at her and I'm like, I wonder what's her personality are. Like, what does she like? What is her characteristic? What annoys her? What is her lifestyle? But before I can answer or tackle into all of those, I actually start with trying to decide how old they are. Yep, I start with their age. And the reason why I wanted to start with that because age frames your character's action. So I'd rather figure out the numbers first before building their backgrounds and or attitudes. Like for example, a reckless decision by a teen might seem normal, but the same decision by a 40-year-old looks childish or irresponsible. Yeah, something like that. Once you have their age, blend it with their personality. Ask yourself, are they carefree, serious, hot-tempered, laid back? This helps paint a clearer picture of how they'd move through the world. Here's an example of how I build personality. Ask yourself, what is their belief? This becomes a core motivation. Is it a faith, a personal code, something passed down from a family, or shaped by life experience? For example, if someone believes in something deeply but has a carefree, reckless personality, maybe they hide their beliefs only to act on them privately. That's just an example. Basically, what I suggest you to do is mix their personality with their belief. Like basically, how do you show that character act on what they believe? Okay? For me, that's what I start. I start with the belief so that I would know who this character into their core. Example, Rumi from K-pop Demon Hunters genuinely believes she's a mistake. She thinks that once her patterns are gone, she'll finally stop being a demon and won't have to hide anymore. Because of this, it becomes her driving motivation to push herself and her friends to perform the Golden Moon as soon as possible. Especially since her patterns are now affecting her voice. This belief isn't really her fault though. In her case, it was planted by Celine, who fed Rumi the idea that she needed to be fixed. Like, observe this scene. Notice how Rumi's belief shapes her character. She feels this genuine fear whenever she sees her patterns, and she instinctively covers them up. This moment alone shows exactly what she believes and how that belief controls her actions. So yeah, when creating a character personality or how they act, I always start with what do they believe in. It's always gotta start with something like that. After figuring out what they believe, decide how they act day to day. Are they always serious, chill, outgoing? Once you know, it's easier to see how that personality affects their lifestyle and clashes or aligns with their beliefs. See now, why the reason why I start with belief? When you're able to figure that out, you can now move on to weakness and troubles. You see, everyone has flaws. Even the perfectionist has flaws. Flaws makes your character feel more human. This can be small annoyances or massive story-shaking issues. It's totally up to you. The reason why flaws matters because they challenge your character's core belief. Oh, see, we're back to beliefs. No one perfectly lives up to what they claim to stand for. And showing that struggle makes them real. With weaknesses, they shape the decision making. When the stakes gets heavy, flaws push your characters to make choices that might backfire, reveal vulnerability, or create conflict, and that's what makes them interesting. It is now time for application. So let's apply what I said to my character Priya. After designing Priya, I settle on her age. She will be 22. These are her personality and struggles. Priya spends most of her time helping others, not because she's some saint, but because she literally has no ambition of her own. She took up cave diving mainly to keep her dad's legacy alive. When she's not diving, she just sleeps. Now let's tackle on Priya's belief. Priya's flaw is actually her lack of belief. See what I did there? She struggles to find something she genuinely cares about. Cave diving is familiar. It pays the bills, and starting over with something new feels impossible. So she sticks with what she knows. She does try to discover a passion by taking random jobs and helping people, hoping something finally clicks. But so far, nothing lights the spark. So basically, her belief, she doesn't have one. That's what I did. Personality, laid back, open to whatever. Her lifestyle, ironically busy, not just because of cave diving, but because she volunteers everywhere searching for a purpose. Or most of the time, she helps people because she has nothing to do with her free time. She has no clear ambition. She doesn't know what she wants, so she just help people reach other dreams. That's what she is. So that is step 2. Pin down their personality. Step 2 is really important because once you figure out their personality, their lifestyle, their belief, this will actually help you visualize their design because their attitude can reflect that on what they wear, what they eat, on what they, or the choice of their clothing, basically. So you really have to figure out how they move, how they react to a certain situation, their flaws, what they like, what they dislike, and those stuff can help you decide a foundation of what your character is going to look like. And like I said, you don't have to figure out everything. It's okay if you haven't figured out their exact lifestyle because as for me, even after finishing this video and even after finishing the character design, I'm still working on her lifestyle and how she speak and how she react in a certain situation. Everything is still concept art. It's just really important to just get started, just put something on the paper. At least you have a reference now. You know, that is important. You need a reference for your own OC because no one else is gonna do that for you, okay? Unless you use commission. That is possible. But as of now, if you're an artist and you're broke, but you're a talented artist, you can do this. Step 3. Design with lore. When and where do they live? This might feel like overkill for just an OC, but if you really want to make your design grounded and believable, it helps a lot. Yes, it can feel overwhelming at first, but once you start gathering references, researching actually becomes fun. This is actually for me, I have fun, so much fun trying to figure out what year or era Korea exists. So that's cool. The year helps shape what kinds of clothes, gear, and materials make sense. Are they in the past, the future, or some alternate timeline? That alone can completely change what they look like. Ask yourself, why do they look like that? Once you know the year and setting, figure out the why behind the design. What tech exists? What cultural symbol matter? What's the world around them like? It doesn't have to be 100% historically accurate because if you try to do that, I assure you your brain will explode. But it should feel logical in your story's world. Okay? Application time. It's time to apply step 3. So I decided Priya lives in 1789. But in my story, okay, listen carefully. But in my story's world, that's actually the steampunk area. Normally, steampunk vibes are tied to the 1800s. But for story reasons, which I'm not spoiling yet, In my timeline, the world got forced to advanced flight and weapon tech centuries early. So yeah, my 1789 looks very different. Skyship, engines, and brass everywhere. Her design choices is based on her job and the settings. The gear and tech. Baggy yellow plants, baggy yellow pants, harness belts, practical uniform for heavy work and protection. Fluid pack holds fermented preservation liquid connected to her suit and crystal container. Goggles protect from dust, heat, and crystal glare underground. Optional helmet for deeper dives where it gets riskier. Heat regulation fabric because she's a pari-pari, a fire-resistant people whose bodies radiated warm. Optional oxygen tank or flirtation. Oh, filtration device for super deep cave dives. Oh my gosh, I don't know how to read. As much as possible, I want to make everything make sense, not just because it looks cool, but because it fits in the year, her environment, and what she actually does. Again, it doesn't have to be 1000% accurate, okay? You just have to make it believable, okay? That's all that is most important. Everything has to have a good reason and it has to be believable. It doesn't have to be 1000% accurate. All you have to do is just, write a good lore about it that isn't too crazy or far-fetched, if you know what I mean. And finally, step 4. Final polish. Basically, you just have to clean it up, keep what serves the story, finish it with a design you're actually happy to show off. And again, even though step 4 says final polish, you can always change her design next time. This step 4 doesn't have to be the final ground and this is the final and I'm never gonna change it. No, that's not it. Final polish is like it's a polish for your overall ideas, especially the early ideas, okay? Just like I said, repeat after me. The most important thing is you were able to make a reference of your own character. That is it. You're able to reach your goal to make a character, a well-grounded OC, and you can always change that. And when you do change them, it's gonna be just easy. You don't have to start from the ground, start from the skeleton, and just, see what you like and what you don't like in your original concept. You just adjust around, play around, what you feel, what you think is right, what you think is wrong. Changing things is gonna be easy because you already have the information that you just created. So yeah. So we're finally at the final part. So basically, this is step 4, application. And the funny thing is, on the left side where the artwork is, I thought that is like my final concept art of Priya. But the longer I look at it, I start to feel more disconnected. Like I feel like this character design feels a bit stiff and she feels a bit restrained. If I don't know, I can't explain the full context, but that's how I feel. I feel like she's being held back. So what I did, I redraw her again. This time I make sure that I'm relaxed because I remembered when I was doing that art, I was actually stressed and I feel like my hands were stiff and my wrist feels weird and it hurts a bit. And I felt like I was not in the right mindset. So I was like, you know what? I need to relax. I need to let loose so that my art won't be affected. So that's why it's really important to relax, to not overthink because it will surely show on your final product. So as you can see here, I made the jacket around her waist, right? A bit more looser. Like, look at the other one. It's so overwhelming. It's too poofy. So I was like, you know what? Let's shrink that down. Let's thin it out so it will look more natural. This is good because for me, it's more pleasing to the eyes and it's far more easier to draw this way. So I'm glad I did a redraw, and I made sure that his pants, like the edges of the pants, it's not too long. Like you can still see her shoes. Like on the left side, the shoes is kind of covered, but here I made sure that it's not that like overwhelmingly covered. Overwhelmingly. Overwhelm. Oh my gosh. In the original sketch, she is on the thinner side, but I decided to give her a little bit more of volume because, well, first of all, I enjoy drawing characters with a bit of skin, with a bit more chub. And second of all, I feel like when she does not help people and she doesn't do a lot of things, like for example, she's not working, she's just at home, she probably eats a lot more. Like she's just, you know what, I don't know what to do, so I'm just gonna eat most of the time. So yeah, there's a little bit of story behind that, and plus it's just more appealing for me, in my opinion. Okay, it's just, I just like it better. Just give her a little bit of chub, and yeah. And so that's the 4 steps that I use to create my own character, design them, the exploration and stuff. First step is the rough stage. Second stage is pin down personality. And step 3 is, what was it again? Oh, design with lore. And step 4 is cleaning up your design. It's like a cleanup. So yeah. So this is the character exploration that we did in this video, and this is episode 1, and I hope to continue this later on. I will do this to my other OCs, and I hope you join along and design or redesign your OCs as well. And I hope this is helpful, and I will see you next time. Bye.